we expected.
Like we've been friends ever since.
How could it not be? Oh my god. Well, guys, we're happy to tell you this. We're rolling, so that's on record.
Sound check.
Just keep this vibe rolling, man. Just cut into it.
Yeah, so that's the story of when Carlos and I first met. I couldn't believe it. That was and funny thing, like I not even thinking about it, Joe was at a home inspection. And the home inspector was a friend, a friend and actually a client, a past client as well, who he bought the inspection company through my network. He bought
Nice.
Yeah. And he was, the reason why I told him that story was because the guy fell at the bottom of the staircase.
Yeah.
And he kind of chuckled while asking if he was okay. So that reminded me of the time that you fell through them. And I just so happened to tell that story earlier today, like not even a couple hours ago.
I'm glad that, funny stories in your life can remind you of my trauma. Anytime you can use my trauma for amusement, we're friends, man. Oh, man, that was 3 years ago. A lot has shifted in the market in 3 or 4 years now at this point?
Yeah, that was in 2022.
22, yeah.
So I would say the market has shifted absolutely at least twice since then.
Yeah.
At least twice. One with the interest rates going up, going from 2022 to 2023, and then again with the slowdown of the sales. But nonetheless, I feel like I came into real estate at a good time, because in 2017, when I first got into the market, homes were taking roughly around 6 months to sell, more or less, right? To where now, when it started reverting back to 4 to 6 months, everybody who joined when the market was fast, their reaction to the speed of it now is like, oh man, things are dragging, it's slow, it's this, it's that. And to me, it's just back to normal.
So when you did first join, right? Because I guess we're always talking to people that, and I know you do, because you're a networker, you get out there and meet people. The more experienced folks, the more experienced ones, what were they saying about the market during those times?
At the time,
if you remember,
saying things like, I got in at a good time. Obviously, we were on the upswing of the seller's market versus the downswing, which is, I guess you can say, we're kind of experiencing now for the last year and some change. And they were telling me things like, you're super young, got good energy. Some I'm not gonna list any names, but some people who I was partnering with were like wanting to leverage my skill set as far as like the marketing, digital marketing, and print stuff, like design stuff. And yeah, it was just that, like, another thing too was the shift of the digital stuff, the technology, the having to do a lot of before the AI, right? Just having to do a lot of the technical stuff. Like I watched a couple agents leave certain brokerages that were shifting into more like digital based platforms, like switching. Like, for instance, my first brokerage, I've only been with 3 brokerages before starting Aroa. But the first brokerage that I was with, they switched, I think it was, they went to Brokerment, like their transaction management software. And that alone caused a couple agents to leave that brokerage and revert back to a more traditional, old-fashioned brokerage, still using the traditional tools. So I saw a lot of that happening, is the shift that the boutique brokerages were doing that was causing agents to like, okay, let me just check out La Rosa or another 100% brokerage.
So there was a lot of agent moving activity, from brokerage to brokerage.
Yeah.
Technology was changing. Companies were trying to implement these new technologies to leverage that same technology. Kind of sounds like what today sounds like, almost.
Yeah, and that's where I got really exposed to like adaptability.
Yeah.
Because my thing is, at first, I didn't want to join any of the big brokerages. I didn't join Keller Williams, didn't join Coldwell Banker, Century 21, none of those, because I've always been entrepreneurial, and I knew adaptability was required.
Yeah.
Right, but seeing how quickly other agents would go from one brokerage to another for all the different reasons that they did, it made me realize, like, wow, like if you're not willing to adapt, you could switch brands almost as much as you switch underwear.
Yeah.
So I always wanted to stay, just stay learning wherever I was at. And truth be told, the only reason why I shifted the first time I changed, because it was about a year and a half that I was with my first brokerage, was because the mentor that I was exposed to, he owned a brokerage and he was getting into apartment buildings, which is what I was. He was also a wholesale coach as well. So between those two things, that value proposition is what got me to change. But after that, I stayed with him for a minute, and then that's when I reconsidered.
Did you get some transactions done with the mentor?
As far as what?
Any transactions? Like, did you actually make some transactions?
Not apartment building related transactions,
Just regular,
but brokerage, correct. Wholesale and brokerage for sure.
Oh, because you did dabble in wholesale too for a little bit.
Correct. I did. I definitely so I got in the market 2017. I closed on my first home 6 months later in June of 2017, and then started transitioning into real estate full time then. And then that summer was when I started looking into wholesaling. And then, so since I was still doing valet, I had my own little valet gig. I transitioned into real estate, and I met someone through one of my locations that he introduced me to my mentor. And that mentor is what, not only I was researching everything for wholesaling on YouTube at the time, and listening to the Bigger Pockets podcast, and then him knowing, I met someone who actually knows how to do it and was willing to teach me at a low barrier cost. And pretty much that's when I transitioned and did my first wholesale deal with him, which turned into a traditional sale. And then we started, learning together on the apartment building stuff.
Yeah.
Capital raising, getting exposed to the information about real estate syndications and capital raising and the whole nine.
Yeah, I ended up when I got my license, I got it because I had, I've always had this small business in medical equipment, and I was just looking for ways. There was a couple of things. Number one, looking for ways to help people buy that product that they needed, but it was just the price tags were too high for a lot of people that I know needed it. And I found out, about this thing called reverse mortgages, and kind of decided just to get my license. I couldn't find anyone else to talk to me more about it, or anybody that did any of these types of things. I had not even bought my own first home yet. And my business was nice and booming, so it was time for us to buy our first home as well. I didn't know any, I always knew realtors. I always knew realtors.
Everybody knows a realtor.
Yeah, I always knew a realtor. Every turn around.
Everybody knows 10 realtors.
Yeah, and
it blows my mind when I hear people say, "I don't have an agent." Like I don't, or like, because I feel like everybody knows an agent out there.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's very true. But there was nobody, and I didn't. For me personally, I didn't know if I had credit challenges. I knew where I was making money, but I didn't know what. I just didn't know any. I just knew how to get out here and make money. That's all I knew how to do. But
and how long were you doing that for?
10 years.
Okay.
10 years.
10 plus years at the time. Yeah.
Yeah. On my own, about 4 years as far as a business owner,
Mm-hmm.
about 3 or 4 years at that point, but in that industry for roughly 10 years. Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah.
So so I didn't know any aspect, right? So I just decided to take the class and get my license myself, and then I'll just figure it out. But it's and yeah, then the pandemic hit, and that kind of threw everything into a frenzy for me. And it was a podcast that I was listening to. It was Earn Your Leisure,
Oh yeah, I love Earn Your Leisure.
but it was
yeah.
I think they may have had maybe 200
At
subscribers
the time,
at
yeah,
that
that was
time.
when they were getting started.
This is
In
before-
was it in
was
Troy's
before COVID.
basement
Yeah, it was-
or
yeah.
yeah, and they were
Yeah.
they were just in front of the camera. I think a round dining room table or
Yeah.
something with just a
Yeah.
flat background.
Yeah,
Yeah. That was in 2020.
yeah, 20 January or so,
Mhm,
2020.
mhm,
And I was like, man, I got this license. I got this, like, I think I could do this, you
mhm.
know? But it was because they were interviewing other people, minorities that
Mhm.
had made it in sometimes niche like trucking and
Right,
these kinds of things. And then they brought a guy in,
MG the mortgage
MG the
guy?
mortgage guy,
Yeah,
Matt
yeah,
Garland.
yeah.
And then when I saw him talking and I saw him, I was like, ooh, I can do this.
Mhm,
Oh my
mhm.
God, it's possible to do something like this. And I'd rather do that than be a realtor.
Absolutely. In 2023, I had my worst year ever as far as unit sales.
Mhm.
Right. I think I did slightly more volume than in my first year, but I only had 3 units sold.
Mhm.
And then you know, what I decided to do with the income from those sales was like counter intuitive, right? Like I had an option. Hey, pay your rent, have a place to stay, or invest into your business so that you can stay in business, you
I
know?
remember that.
So, you know, I chose the latter. I chose what most people would have decided to stay where they're at and go out and get a job or figure something else out for income, right? And I invested into coaching. And
And by the way,
in that particular instance, you would look at the situation and say, you're dumb, you're doing the wrong thing, you need to go, you know, everybody's gonna look at you like, hey, you need to go get a job, you're crazy.
however, hold on. At that, because I remember you told me about that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you first told me what was going on, I was like, oh my God, because we had already built a relationship. It wasn't deep and like at that point yet.
It was just beginning.
It was a beginning, but I believe that we knew there was going to be a relationship there.
Right.
And I remember hearing that, and the first thing that came to my mind, that's so freaking awesome.
Crazy.
But I can see why 99% of the voices will say, you're nuts.
Dude, it was crazy because I remember in one particular instance that I was getting ready to go to bed in the back of the car, parked up at a Walmart parking lot in St. Cloud, and I'm talking to my sister, and she said, as I'm telling her like how I'm setting up for the night, she literally said, all she had to say was like, how do you feel? Like this is crazy. What you're telling me is crazy. And my direct response to that was like, I'm not crazy. I'm convicted. And that was part of that inward look. Like you said, the fiber is like, at that point, I had already convinced myself that no matter how anybody else perceived the scenario, I was committed. And I wasn't going to do anything else except that until I overcame.
You took it to the next level. This is what was that Will Smith movie?
The Pursuit of Happiness.
The Pursuit of Happiness. like honestly, it was, for me, it was I'm witnessing a parallel, like, this is what this guy is going through right now. I remember the first time you told me you was homeless. I was like, and you had to get, I was like, yo, hold on, man. Where you gotta go?
You were like, where you at? Where you
Yeah.
headed? Like, how can I
Yeah.
help? I remember that.
It was because I'm like, oh my God. And, you know, part of it, honestly, because I believed whatever that was
Mm-hmm.
just a was just a season. But the fiber of the man that is going through that and is still remaining, like, you're not seeing the winds like at all. You're just really grounded in what you believe and your conviction. That
Right.
I was telling somebody about you today. I'm like, man, we're only, I didn't, not by names or you know, just in general. Look, man, I know, like one of my, probably my closest realtor partner, like in general, like period, homeless, drives me. We're driving downtown Orlando. He pulls me over at a freaking lot that a skyscraper or something like is supposed to be built. You know,
Yeah.
and had the whole thing planned out. And it wasn't like, oh, yeah, it'll be cool. Nah, the dude's right there sitting, calling on him, like boom, boom. He's trying to make the, like, he is it seems unfazed.
By the current circumstance.
Unfazed, you know, and that was just crazy. I remember, you know, you transporting yourself through the train, you know, getting from one place to the other, rushing to get your girls.
Yeah.
You know,
Taking a sunrail, taking a bus. I did the craziest things during that process. I remember before, this is how I knew you actually cracked my eggshell when it comes to sharing my story. Because I remember one time I was, you know, the summer had passed, 2022 summer had passed. We had already met through the story of the falling through the
my
floor.
trauma.
And metaphorically, if you think about it, right?
Through the floor.
Falling through the floor, right? Speaking of falling through the floor. So I remember it was the end of the summer. I'm door knocking. I'm door knocking. And you asked me this question. I guess you must have had a moment and you were like, I need to talk to somebody. Because I remember the exact question that you asked. And the question you asked was, yo, you aren't feeling the impact of everything that's happening to the economy right now? And that's when I was like, yo, this is an opportunity to open up. Because I was like, definitely, I'm door knocking,
Yeah.
but I already know, like, yo,
Yeah.
I'm doing this out of desperation. I'm not
Yeah.
even doing this because I want to. I'm doing this because I have to.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't see myself going out to get a 9 to 5. Like, that wasn't an option for me. No matter looking at my numbers and understanding that, yo, I know I'm not making ends meet. Like by the end of this year, like I gotta do something. So I'm door knocking, and that was like, and then it was a couple months after that. That was when I decided to do that live. That was the summer of 2023. So I think it was.
I remember the live.
September going into October that I did that live.
Yeah.
And that was when I was like, all right, I got to
Come
at
out
least
to the
get
world.
it out.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And then after that, for some reason, I was attempting to keep the story going because that was when I was leveraging the Melrose Center. And I was trying to keep up with, like, maintaining the accounts of, like, what I was doing on a day-to-day, but it got to a point where I couldn't keep on with the production side of things because I had to actually. It was like Alex Hormozy talks about this a lot. Like the Rocky Balboa scene was like, you watch the movie and he's going through that adversity for just 5 minutes, but you don't know when you're actually going through it. You don't know how long it's gonna last.
There's a detail I gotta throw in there for this.
What's that?
You put me on to hey, let's just shoot some content. Like, I know you're going through all of this at that time. Let's shoot this content. I show up at the Melrose Center, but you got the green screen cameras, you got the whole. But then, I think it was like 3 of them. It was 2 or 3 just interns. Like, you're homeless. You got this vision. You got me in front of like HD green screen cameras with fancy mics and this and that, whole mixing board, just the whole thing. Like it looks like it's a huge production type of thing, you know. And then you got some interns going on because you were doing a lot with like nothing.
I know. So that was so shout out to Krista Mayshore, right? The Krista Mayshore coaching. So that was when I started taking the video marketing real serious. And I had remembered about the Melrose Center because I had started to use it a couple years before that. I knew about it years before, but I never really tapped in. So when it came to a point that, you know, I already knew I wasn't going to be with Compass any longer, and I also knew I wasn't going to have a place to work out of, I was like, okay, what do? I started looking at, I disregarded what I didn't have, and I started looking at what I can have access to. And the Melrose Center was one of those things. So like, and just a side story, I was the very same day that I took the assessment to gain access to the studio was the very same day I was getting evicted out of a car, which is a whole nother side story. But it was just like
Evicted out of a car.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story. So I was sleeping in the back of a car that was not my own. And that
with permission, right?
With permission, of course. Yeah. But I still got evicted for personal reasons. So I guess for my lack of gratitude, because I guess I expressed some things about how the car was not. But anyways, so yeah, the same day that I got evicted out of a car was the very same day that I gained access to the video studio, and I leveraged the Melrose Center to put an impression on the interns that I was bringing on, because simultaneously I had set up a profile on Go Handshake, connected my company profile to UCF, and then just made a basic post about a video content internship with my company. And then yeah, I started bringing. Once I gained access to the studio, I was like, all right, now I got the green light and the confidence to bring interns on. I brought them on unpaid, and you know, introduced them to the Melrose Center and told them, hey, this is where we're going to be working out of. This is where the marketing aspect of my business is going to be produced, and welcome to the team. And then yeah, honestly, that was part of the journey, that it was like, as long as I got access to this, I don't even feel like I'm homeless. Because during the day I'm at work, like this is what we do. I'm feeling like Steve Harvey at this point. And nobody knows. You know, so like everybody who I'm inviting to, it was very impressionable. Shout out to the Melrose Center as well. And yeah, that's how I was able to continue putting out content regardless of what the current circumstances were at that time.
From homeless to homeowner in 2 years?
That was
Three?
September 1st of 2023 through May of 2025. So yeah, about 2 years.
Yeah.
Almost 2 full years.
Yeah. Impressive.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Impressive.
Crazy.
My highlight with the interns was, remember when Johnny had that property in Leesburg?
Yes.
Cool waterfront property. Get on the boat. We launched from the marina that day.
We launched from the marina, yeah.
So we went from the marina all through, and it was the whole idea of having the Lake County lifestyle through drone footage on a boat.
Mm-hmm.
That was and then we get there, and the house had just sold.
Yeah. So we're supposed so we're doing these home tours for YouTube, right? So it was Robert K. Murillo on YouTube, right? For luxury home tours. So back to the same builder, right? That we met with back when we met in 2022. He has a home on the market, and lo and behold, we put him on the calendar to do one of his vacant homes as one of the tours for our channel. And by the time that date rolls around, the home's already under contract. And the closing happens to line up to where it ends up landing on the day that we go to do this planned boat trip to pull up to the property, right? From what lake did we launch from?
That was Lake Dora.
From Lake Dora to pull up to the property, pull up to the canal.
And the property was on Little Lake Harris.
Okay, Little
Yeah.
Lake Harris. So we go from one lake to another with the intent of doing the tour with this staged home, right? So, boom, boom, boom. We got this whole thing mapped out. We were supposed to be doing the tour with the listing agents, who was his wife.
It was his wife, yeah.
So
Alicia.
Now, either the day
Sister.
before or the same day. Shout out to Alicia Diaz with LPT Realty. So the day before or the day of, she calls us, drops the bomb because I'm not familiar with the property. And full disclosure, I decided, because the way we planned it, I decided not to study the property. I was just gonna ask questions based on pulling up to it, right? So I was gonna rely on her expertise and her knowledge of the property and her awareness of the property to lead the tour. I was just gonna ask the questions, right? So day before or the day of, she drops the bomb. Hey, I don't want to do it. Or I'm not gonna do it. Or I guess it had to deal with the closing.
Yeah. Well, what happened was when we were on our way there, we were literally on our way there.
So go ahead.
They had cleaned because they had the closing coming. So the floors, they had put that cleaning.
That's the second part. That's the second part that I was gonna share. So this is before we get on the boat.
Oh, yeah. That she can't make it.
Now
Yes,
she
yes.
can't do
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
She
yeah,
don't
yeah,
want to
yeah.
do it. She
Yeah,
won't.
yeah.
But I think
She
it
was
has to
scared
do
to
with
get
the
on
closing.
camera.
But even aside from the camera, I think it also had to do with
the
the
closing
second part,
schedule.
which
Yeah,
is with
the
this.
closing.
So now we're on the boat.
Yeah.
Doing the drone stuff and the stuff before, the behind the scenes shooting before, and while we're on the boat, she drops bomb number 2. I feel like this is Hiroshima. Hey, the stagers are at the property. They're removing all of the furniture, and they're cleaning the floors. So you're not going to be able to walk the right wing of the property or the left wing of the property. So we go from this planned out home tour, shooting the entire home, walking through the entire home, expecting for it to be staged, right, and vacant. And now we could only access 1/3 of the property.
That's very generous of you.
Well, okay, let's say 1/8 of the property, right? Which is just a foyer, a half bath, and a flex space. So now, and the stagers couldn't fit all of the furniture onto the truck. So now there's left behind furniture in the way. So now we pull up to the property and we're like, oh man, what are we gonna do now?
So Robert says, I don't get out of the boat, right? Because the dock didn't have anything for me to dock my boat
Yeah,
in.
you couldn't tie up. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm like, so he said, we'll be right back. So they went and they're gone for 5 minutes. They're gone for 10 minutes.
With no updates.
With no updates. Nobody's talking to me. I'm just sitting out there just like, okay. 30 minutes pass. It must have been 45 minutes that passed. Then they come back.
The home is closed now.
The home's
It's the buyers are just waiting for funding so they can get the keys.
So we get out. We get back in the car. He's like, yo, so you see what I did?
Didn't even tell him, like, yo, I told shout out to Jaden and Evan. They were the camera guys on site that day. Joe was with us too. So I told him we're not gonna tell Carlos what we did. We're gonna keep it a surprise. So now he's kept in full blown suspense.
Bro,
He has to wait until the video drops.
it was a rap video they recorded. They recorded a rap video.
So now,
was-
and here's how it transpired. Right, we get in the foyer of the property, and I'm like, okay, we need to figure out what we're gonna do because we didn't come here for no reason. That was number one. Number two, I totally forgot to like, oh, we gotta update Carlos. Like, it was like you would have thought we weren't even in a boat. And then number three, I was like, all right, what ideas can we come up with that we can use this property to the best of our ability, right? To produce a piece of content that is gonna draw an audience or
Felt like
catch attention.
hearing about it feels like it was the Goonies exploring the space. Like,
Goonies never say die.
so the Goonies. went-
So yeah, we were just like, it was quick thinking on our feet. I was like, let's shoot a music video. And I got the perfect song. It's real estate related. So boom, we come up with the concept. I pulled the song up.
Did you ever post that?
Yeah, the song's on the YouTube channel.
I gotta check it out. What's it called?
Yeah, so it's called So Lost.
So Lost.
The home buying roadmap
Yeah.
is the subtitle.
Because it is educational on
Correct.
home buying.
Correct. So it's an educational based how to buy a home rap video. Yeah.
With the property that we
that we could not show on the property. So and actually I drew inspiration from the situation for the hook to that video because I was like, unfortunately this home has already been sold, but stay tuned. We're gonna show you how to buy a house so that this doesn't happen to you.
So it doesn't happen to you. That's exact. That's right. That's what it was.
Yeah. So that was just a slight look at the resourcefulness.
So I know. So to kind of like circle back, you're now moving on this multi-property stuff. Real estate, part of the
Multifamily
market.
apartment buildings.
And was that initial inspiration, that initial mentor that you had from back when you started, or like where like why? Because everybody has their own reason why they want to do this kinds of stuff.
Yep.
And of all the ways of being able to make money in life, why that?
So when I met, I mentioned him before, but I didn't shout him out. When I met Reginald Ovens, God bless his soul. He started pouring into me in a different way because I saw his value. I saw what he had to offer as far as his knowledge and experience in the wholesaling game, and he was coming out of wholesaling and coaching and the ownership of the brokerage. He was maintaining it. He was maintaining his coaching business, his wholesaling business, and his real estate brokerage while pivoting into apartment buildings. So he was a little more advanced in learning the multifamily syndication process. And he already had a plethora of investors. He already had his network, his expansive network. I think he was about between 16 to 18 years into the business then when I first met him. And he was just, I was just showing an eagerness to learn. And he was willing to take me up under his wing and just start feeding me everything that he was learning too. So going through that process of the definition of multifamily syndication, the different types of commercial real estate, and seeing the benefits of apartment buildings, and then seeing how Grant Cardone was also elevating his social media marketing and exposing, his audience to multifamily syndications. But he was who I had direct access to for this information and knowledge. And that's where the seed was sown into me then. Now, between 2018 and 2020, I also had because at that point real estate was my full-time gig, and I also had a desire to shift into the luxury market of real estate. So as far as brokerages were concerned, I did pivot from his brokerage into being invited to Compass, and that's a side story in itself. But everything that I had learned with Reginald, it struck a chord in me to where I knew real estate sales wasn't going to be my end game, and I was going to figure out how to pivot from real estate as a career into multifamily syndication, ownership, and general partnerships
Now,
and development.
during the quest for that, you came to me with an opportunity
Yes.
during this whole, not the current one now,
Yeah.
but it was a few years ago.
Initial opportunity. Yeah.
Which was like 1,200 homes or something like
Correct,
that. Remember
correct.
that? So were you pursuing those types of deals and then ran into that other deal?
No.
And
That particular deal, that development opportunity, which still exists, was a result of me looking at multifamily apartments.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So was it, so you were looking for that,
serendipitous.
because that was a very how'd you run into that?
Correct. Yeah, exactly. So I was looking at 6 units as I was studying the multifamily game. I started scheduling showings to go see these, because for physical effect, I was looking at 6 units in a COE. Ironically, we're in a COE now, right? So not too far from here, from downtown Ocoee, I was looking at 6 units, and the agent who was showing me those 6 units there, I gave him a rundown of what we were looking to do as an investment group. So the investment group that Reginald was forming was Knifeco Investment Group, and I gave him the rundown of what we were looking for as far as multifamily is concerned. But with everything that I mentioned to him, he told me, hey, I know this owner of an opportunity in a different state. If you want to bring it to your investment group and see what they say, boom, he gave me the rundown verbally. I scheduled him to meet us at the office because I had no idea what to do with that opportunity. And that's when I started gaining awareness of how serious real estate can get you to go from just thinking you
to
could
a listing to an appointment,
right,
for a 6-figure fat, and that was two quick thoughts on that. That was number one, during that time period. So
What?
during your homeless time period, wasn't it?
No, not yet.
Okay,
not yet.
that was
because it wasn't until 2023.
okay. Because I'm
So-
like, yo, that's crazy. You were doing all this stuff.
Oh no, correct. So no. So I knew about that opportunity a couple years before I mentioned it to you.
Got it.
It had been something that I had been trying to get. I had been working on, with multiple contacts and investors.
And they still haven't.
But no, it still hasn't sold.
Wow.
But due to circumstances on the seller's behalf.
Got it.
Right? So, but what I was getting from that was realizing, like, whoa, like, looking at a couple $100,000 deal could lead to looking at a multi-million-dollar deal, because that was before I ever
18
closed
million, I think,
anything.
if I'm not mistaken.
Well, no, 8 million was the
8,
asking
yeah.
price on that, 8.8.
But it was worth
Correct, 14.
14.
Yeah. So, but again, that's when I gained the awareness of, like, a small opportunity can lead to a larger opportunity, because it was at that point that the conversation started opening up to like I started going from like not ever selling a home for more than 400,000 and thinking that the real estate game was a ladder climb, like a corporate ladder climb, right? To like realizing, wait, no, this can literally go from like this is just one opportunity here to like
Yeah.
the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
Like there
Yeah.
is no limit
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
It could things could shift overnight.
You just gotta be doing your job.
You hey, you go at it every day,
Yeah.
and you never know. The beauty of real estate is that you never know what's gonna fall out of the blue, what's coming next, what you're gonna stumble upon, what opportunities. Like look at the like look. I transitioned out of valet and driving trucks overnight into real estate, and then starting that career after those seeds being planted, right? Serendipitously, I met a mentor who planted the seeds about multifamily. That just beginning to look at multifamily led to uh, a game changing development opportunity,
Yeah.
right? That caused me to open up my I guess vision and really just gain the courage to like, even if I don't know what I'm talking about, start the conversation, speak to people, get better at networking, raising capital, everything that is involved with that process, right? And then I just started gaining balls, for a lack of better words, and just like, man, it was just like, hey, this can really, things can really just come out of nowhere and just change everything for the better.
Yeah.
And then ironically, like you said, even when I started going through the tough times and I faced adversity and those challenges of, everything crumbling, so to speak, it was just like, you know what? My eyes are still on the prize, and I'm still dreaming big. That never stopped. That was something that drew me to Compass as well, was their guiding principles, and one of them was dream big. So yeah, it was something that I stumbled upon, so to speak. I pursued it for a couple of years, but throughout that entire process, opportunities just kept coming in different shapes and sizes. Some bigger than others, and it has been a hell of a journey, hell of a roller coaster, and literally the scariest twists and turns, but also the most enjoyable.
We talk a lot about avatars, right? And which is our client persona, our ideal client, and all clients. I mean, we'll help whoever this is what we do for a living, right? But what is who is it that Robert gets that most satisfaction from helping in this industry?
Okay, so that's a really good question, and there's two parts to that question. Because I love helping people who it's always I guess you could say a good laugh when you deal with people who had no idea that they can even purchase a home, and they were just like, man, if I would have known this, when their reaction is, if I would have known this, I would have done it years ago. Or I would have done it, especially the ones that you talk to at first and then they go cold on you, and then they come around months or years later and they're like, man, if I would have known this, I would have done this when we first spoke, when you first told me about the process, when you first got connected to me, right? And then as far as client avatar is concerned, it's the buyers who are the least not least resistant
Mm-hmm.
buyers, right? The ones who they are in the abundance phase of their journeys, right? They don't think in terms of scarcity. They have tapped into their wealth. They have an abundant amount of resources and the ability to buy anything and everything they want,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, those two buyers have been my favorite as far as agent experience is concerned. They have become my avatar.
You know, I have this. I don't know. Sometimes I'm just a sucker when it comes to to like people's stories.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and because for me, I have a problem that I can't help but letting my heart connect to what I do.
Mm-hmm.
That person that has gone through these insane adversities in life, right? Regardless of how they got there, they've just had these crazy, like beyond what most people think they can endure type of adversities. um, to see that person actually make that happen, um, for me, a lot of times it I guess it makes my job a bit more stressful, right? Because that means someone like me takes on, things that most others just would not want to take on,
Right.
you know, and I do it for the me. I remember my first time going to buy a home, even after being licensed. I just didn't know anything yet.
Right.
The experience that I went through with that builder, that I thought everything was great because of the VA mortgage, and then he comes back 4 months later, like a month before we're about to close, and says, "Hey, by the way, yeah, you're not really approved on your." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
And
And at that
me
point, you were close enough to closing that you thought you were gonna close,
thought I was gonna close. I didn't
and
know
that's
there was
your
anything wrong.
family was ready to
We were
make that
going.
move.
We saw the foundation being poured, the sticks go up, the second floor. My family and I were going every Saturday, having prayer circle on the loft, dedicating our house to God and thanking God for everything. And then we're basically moving. And now what? I
Mm-hmm.
can't buy this house.
Right.
Yeah, I make enough money. I got, like, why can't I buy a house? And now I'm licensed. I just don't know what I'm doing because all I did was get a license. I
Right.
have no idea,
Right.
So
You just passed the exam.
yeah, that's all. I have not done anything at all. And I remember getting those news and sitting in front of that house completely built. My wife and I, we went to the design studio. Like everything. The colors were what we wanted. The pavers, everything was what we wanted. We designed that house in our eyes. I just stood outside of that house crying because now I got to go home and face my wife and daughters
Mm-hmm.
and be like, I know we've been believing God. I know we've been doing everything we should be doing, and all these, we've been this, that, like, we've been going, like, but guess what, ladies? It's not happening.
Mm-hmm. That's tough.
Bro,
I could only imagine what it was like
just,
to have to break that news.
they were so excited.
I know.
They had picked the bedrooms. We were moved in.
Yeah.
We were literally moved in
in
already.
your minds, yeah. But
So,
that was God. God did not allow you. That house was not
no,
for you.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
That's the crazy part,
And,
is to realize that
Yeah.
years later.
To get, and when I get to the house, right? I tell Michelle, and she's like, "Well, babe, let's tell the girls." So I'm like, "Oh my God, they're gonna start crying and this and that."
Mm-hmm.
I told my girls, and those girls says, "Let's find another one then." I'm like, what?
They just shrugged it off. So you cried.
Yeah, I cried. I'm the one that cried. I'm sorry, girls. Oh my God.
That's like a
bro.
sitcom moment. Like when the kids are like, okay, how about the other 100 homes on the market?
Are there no more houses out there?
Right, right.
Oh, maybe that right after that is when I linked up with my mentor, who I'm now back working with again to this day. Part of our brokerage at Verisol. But he helped me through. Actually, I know you haven't done a loan yet, but let's do yours. So he helped me do mine, and yeah, still strong after all these years.
So
But-
now, okay, that's one adversity you faced with your family, right? But you also faced an adversity with, like, back to what you were said, getting accused of, doing too long of consultations, maybe over investing into people with, which to me, there's no such thing. You have to pour into people to get anything out of them and to get them from, awareness to closing, right? But I also witnessed you go through your epiphanies in the business from not knowing, from that conscious incompetence to going to the unconscious competence and where you're at now in the mortgage business. I mean, now you could talk about it with your eyes closed, where before it was like you did so many consultations. I remember when we were talking, you're like, yo, I'm doing all these consultations. I'm talking to all these people, but nobody's ready.
Nobody.
That was your story for
Because
a
of my
little
avatar.
minute. Yeah,
That's
your avatar, exactly.
That's my
Everybody who was they were willing to listen to the information, maybe not credit ready and or no down payment.
Or none of the above ready.
Or none of the above. So what was your journey like when you were realizing, like, man, I'm really spinning my wheels here? Because we all hit that point in our careers where, am I really going to do this? Or like, yo, at this point, I can't even, at this point, you closed on your home.
Yeah.
Now you guys are inside of your home, your first home. And you can quickly go to like from you're in your first home to like, yo, now we gotta sell. So what did you go through, or what really clicked for you? What had to happen mentally that really got you to shift and realize all the changes you needed to make to start connecting with real buyers and realtor partners?
Most the I guess what came out of me during those times is the fact that I love being an educator, right? And I really love it. I love just teaching this thing for people to have real information that can possibly lead them to make decisions to change their lives, right? And it's a passion of me, probably because there's ministry stuff, and then probably because I'm just heart connected to everything I do that way. And it's the same thing no matter what you do, whether it's in ministry, whether it's in mentorship, whether it's in real estate. You can't force anyone to want to do something.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no matter how much, and that was the thing. It's like I'm fine with the educational part, but I was trying to also do all the stuff for them.
Right. It was kind of like you were wanting the house for them more than they were wanting it for themselves.
Yes, and I had to come to the realization that I need to be selective in who I spend my energy and my time in helping. And because I've even started now recently, sort of even developing content and all that for other than that first time home buyer, other than the impossible situation person, other than the
start from scratch.
Yeah, the start from scratch, other than the pulling teeth just to get you to do this. Like, this is for you. Can't you see this? This is for you. But being selective, man, and understanding that I've got to take control of my own time. Because a lot of times it was just, I was just being pulled here, pulled there, and when somebody is serious about buying a home, you'll know.
Yeah.
You'll know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
1000%.
you'll know. You don't have to force it.
Correct. It's the action
Yeah,
taking.
yeah. So I
The
just
the.
learned.
Oh, go ahead. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So I just learned to do what I'm supposed to do during my times. This is what I do. I learned that I can't do other people's jobs for them, man.
You know, not only do you start directing people on the action steps they got to take, but you start realizing how to like recognize that,
Yeah.
hey, you know, I told you we got to pull credit. If we don't pull credit, I can't send you homes.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't send you homes, we can't view homes, right? If you don't have a pre-approval, we can't look at homes,
Yeah.
right? I did that too. I did all the Zillow showings and hey, I want to see this house. They're dream home shopping and I don't even recognize it, but lo and behold, we're looking at this home for sale and they want to rent. Or they want to buy this house,
Yeah.
but they can't afford it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You start realizing how important it is to do certain things and get your clients to do certain things to recognize and understand, okay, this is someone who's ready to go.
How much technology? What is a good balance in your eyes of technology versus real human touch?
As far as that is concerned, yes, I don't want to be fake or glitchy,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
to
yeah,
speak.
yeah, yeah.
The glitchy AI,
The
right?
gimmicky, the gimmicky,
The
stuff.
gimmicky,
Yeah.
right. But that comes along with the realization of like, okay, as far as the levels of value, all right, I realizing, okay, I don't have to manufacture content,
Mm-hmm.
right? I don't have to spend too much time because that's what the production behind the scenes of like everything I was going through as far as homelessness is concerned. When I started leveraging the interns, I was like, okay, what I'm actually doing is the content. So like this is content
How long
on
have we been
content.
rolling already?
Almost an hour and a half.
13 minutes.
Yeah, we're coming up on that. Yeah, we got
You
about
talk a
13.
lot.
I know, right? You listen a lot.
My wife trained me well. We're 26 now, and like I've got probably the most aggressive goals that I've ever set for myself. Period. I was telling Dan, the wolf, leader of the
The
pack,
Wolfman
the leader of
Dan.
the pack. You know, Wolfman Dan. Shout out to Dan. Dan Pacheco. Anybody follow that guy? No matter where you find him. But like the aggressiveness of the goals, even though that there's multiple ones, right? It's got the financial, the physical. Started my journey. Since June 2nd, 67 pounds or something like that.
I'm still shocked.
One goal that has me the most motivated and excited to chase after is me.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Because the me that if I get that one right, all these other ones will fall into place.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You on a personal level, the goals are there for production. The goals are there for you growing this to your agency, your agency nationwide. All of that, those are goals, right? Beautiful goals, extremely aggressive goals. You've shared, plenty of them with me. But what goals do you have for you?
So, personally, for me, the definition of goal has changed because of the realization like goals are momentous. Your goal is whatever's right in front of you. Everybody's in different stages of their careers, of their personal situations. So I treat goals now as far as like what I want to accomplish in little increments and like focusing hardcore on what's directly in front of me. But the bigger picture and the part that I haven't told in the story is how I drew closer to God. So a lot of what I experience and that inward look, internal processing, it has led to like seeking God.
Yeah.
And now I have been a lot more spiritual in my walk, a lot more faithful. It's been eye opening how like how much of that I had kind of like pigeonholed myself out of a relationship with God, and seeing all the bits and pieces of my story where he showed up each and every time is what really made me realize like, oh man, like I've been missing out.
Yeah.
So personally, on the bigger picture, that is what it is.